was a whole event, and they had them all walking around, dancing.
No.
Yeah, you can look
Really?
it up. It's crazy.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Busybody Podcast. Here for another amazing week.
It's only me and Brandon.
That's crazy.
This is kind of feeling really intimate right now.
And yes, you're right. And then real quick, guys, I just want to take a second to how dope is this new set here
It's fabulous.
that we have going on, especially even the logo on the TV behind Kirsten.
Ta-da!
Yes.
Do you like my ponytail? It's an up though, baby.
Want to say a big thank you to the team for just helping us out and helping build this. It's been amazing, and we love to be here and also have you guys part of the Busybody family.
We do. It's an honor. You guys make our dreams come true. Cheese. So I'm thinking because it's just us, maybe we tap into a little bit more relationship questions that can fit into business and how in marriage or in relationship you can kind of navigate being two busybodies.
Why not? We got some questions lined up for each other. So this episode's going to get kind of exciting, guys. I'm actually
nervous.
It's really funny because going into this, Kirsten, as you can see, is nervous, and she's said it 1,000 times before we started recording here. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny. Jake, we miss you, but we're going to have fun this episode.
The fun one. All right. Do you have the first question or do I?
Well, so I have questions that kind of go into a numerous amounts of categories.
Okay.
I liked where you were touching with it though, but it's just a numerous amount of categories. Now
I'm open for it all. Let's go for it.
Okay. What do you want? You want to go deep or you want to be light? Dude.
Just pick one. Pick one and throw it at me.
All right. Without even looking at the phone, I just, it's one that I like, one that just comes off the top of my head because it's something I'm doing right now. But, in the previous episodes, you talked about, how much you like reading and you recently started reading again, right? So what is, what's a book that you've read that has that has sit well with you? Basically just might have taught you something about yourself or seen things a little differently in life or just anything. What's something that you can give?
What I can give?
Because I'm trying to get back into reading, but I need some books.
You need books. Well, I will say the most read book I've read is the Bible, because I'm not actually a big reader. It's really hard for me to sit still. If you haven't noticed, guys, I'm kind of a mover.
You were reading a book recently, though.
I was. I was happy. I told Jake, I was like, I'm finally reading a book. I'm really proud of myself. But one book that really touched my life is called Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. And it's a book about a prostitute who finds love. And it's a very interesting book because it just goes to show that no matter whatever your life story is or whatever you've gone through, there is redemption for you. There is love. There is something waiting for you that's beautiful, even if you don't feel like you deserve it, because technically we all don't really deserve anything in that regard, but it's given to us. And so it was such, I read it when I was a really young girl, and then they randomly came out with a movie, and I got to see it and be a part of whole sharing about it. And it was just a full circle of really reminding myself that my value is not in what I've done or what I haven't done, my failures, but that I am truly loved ultimately. So that is one of the books that I cried, laughed. I did it all.
Felt every emotion.
Every emotion possible. I was little too. I was like, I don't know, like a teenage girl, little Kirsten. Oh my gosh. And that was what happened.
Is that exactly how little Kirsten was?
I think so. I'm pretty sure I ran in circles majority of my time. Yeah, it was pretty incredible.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I appreciated it. Okay. I have a question for you.
Okay, well, can I add something?
You can.
Before you ask me this question?
Yes.
Okay, so I've been reading this book recently.
Oh.
I'm not too much of a reader, guys. I mean, I was a reader when I was a very little kid, maybe elementary school, had like a little kids library, but that's as far as I got with it. So I didn't make it too far. But I have been, getting together with some group of guys recently. And one of them, got us into this book. It's called Fighting Shadows.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I've, you know, I've, I think Jake is someone that actually told me this, that if you're going to start reading and you haven't really read, it's better to start with smaller books so you can actually finish it versus the books that are like pages deep and it's like very, just very deep. Sometimes you got to like start a little small to be able to get to the end, especially if you're not an avid reader. But I will say this though, it's a very nice book and it's specifically based upon men. Men dealing with, God knows what type of struggles in their life that they may or may not be fully aware of or have tackled yet or just basically have outgrown and healed from. Now, that being said, I know both men and women obviously have their own struggles and each have to cope through it in certain ways. But this one's specifically on men. And it's a very interesting book because it really dives into, mental health and just who your surrounding is, and just how much your surrounding can impact you as a person and your spirit. And
What's
then
been your favorite part so far? Like, has there been a quote or like a sentence that's really stood out to you that you've kind of been walking out recently?
I don't know. Funny enough, I'm only 3 chapters in. So
Not funny. It's okay.
I'm only 3 chapters
There's a
in.
lot in 3 chapters.
I'm reading 1 chapter a week right now. It might not be a lot at all, but busy life, busy body. So chapter a week is so far. So that's where we're at right now. But I will say the last chapter basically dived into like, just how random things may happen in your life that doesn't really make sense. Like you could be having a great day.
Yeah.
You could be having a great day. And then just like the littlest thing happens, which makes you think about something like dark or traumatic that happened in your life at some point. God knows where, but at some point it triggered a memory, and then like how like your day mentality just plummets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just kind of changes your attitude. And I think the chapter is just basically helping understanding like what you can do to when those things come and attack you, how you can just things that you could do to basically prevent your mentality from plummeting. Obviously, it's not like, oh, do this and it's going to solve this. It takes steps into adjusting to that and learning how to cope with that. But it's basically about like how little things come and distract you from when you're in the right path and going towards, light and just overall just trying to be a good person. And these little things come and just tackle you.
That's really powerful. It's good to have that. I think like even the fact of, because I have a women's group too. We're not reading a book, but I think even just having people to sit down and have discussions with about stuff that maybe feels uncomfortable, but then also being able to have like a book that you guys can read together.
Yeah.
It's very cool because you can talk about subjects that wouldn't necessarily be brought up otherwise. And that's a cool thing to have, I would say.
Yeah. I've definitely thought of some of those things at times. But we've never voiced it.
Yeah, like actually had communication about it.
Right.
Conversation.
Right. Exactly, yeah. So it's, yeah.
It paves
We'll
the
see
way.
we're seeing how it goes. But yeah, we're on chapter 3.
That's awesome.
Chapter 3. So
I think that, it doesn't matter genuinely how fast you're reading something. I think you want to digest it. You want to really soak it in. So,
oh my God. Man, I heard someone say this the other day. Sorry, I'm kind of diving a lot into this book thing. But
it's okay. It means you're excited.
yeah, so I want to know if you're this person as well. And I want to know if you guys are these people as well. But someone said this last week, and I was just like, bro, you just like went into my mind and said my thought. Like you just took it out and said, I was like, I've been dealing with this my whole life. Like there will be times where it's like you'll read something and you'll finish reading it and you have no idea what you just read. Like,
all the time.
Like you have to either go back and be like, I got to start this over, or you're just like, for another time. I can't tell you how many times, especially in school growing up, I had to reread things because I would read it and I get to the end and I don't even know what's being said. I don't even know what I just processed.
I think that's in conversation also. I think that you like to digest things on a multiple occasion basis. We won't go there, but I think it's just something that
That's funny.
you like to know exactly what is being said until you have an opinion on it.
It also takes me time
Yeah, and that's okay.
to process. But no, the reading thing is serious. There's times I legitimately forget. It's like I didn't even read. I read, but I didn't. And I have to literally reread.
You're not alone. There is a whole squad of humans
I want to know
like
how
this.
many of you guys that happens to, because I've only heard one other person in my life say that out loud.
Do you think that that's something that people misunderstand about you a lot? Like majority of the time? Is that like something that...
No, not really. It's just been something I've had to myself for years, thinking like, why do I forget things when I read it?
Yeah.
And then I heard someone say it last week, and I'm like, holy crap. I heard
That's me.
I heard someone else say that.
You're saying what I want to say.
Yeah. But okay, done with the books. What's your question?
I mean, books are important. I like it. I like that you're reading more. We're feeding our brain cells. This is important. We'll have more things to discuss.
Yeah, we will.
Yes. I think that something that I just want to touch on a little bit is, so Brandon and I, we're both very highly active people. We show up to most events separate because we're busy working in different places, or, you know, constantly having to schedule in time to have dinner together and different things. And I think that's taught me a lot about how to schedule time in, that to not just make it like, oh, I have to do this, but that it's a I get to do this moment. So in that, like, what have, I guess we've learned, but like just in general in relationship and marriage of being two busy bodies, what is something that you've highly learned in the last year, I would say, that has helped us navigate supporting one another's dreams, building together, but also building us as a unit, like not just work wise?
Well, there's a lot of answers to that statement.
It's okay, I got
because
time.
You said a lot of
I
different
also
aspects.
want to hear it. I'm gonna sip my little
Yeah.
Olipop over here.
You know, navigating our journey is very interesting. And I'm still learning it. It's definitely and you know what?
You don't have to have all the
and you
answers.
think-
I mean, just
and you
something
think-
simple is fine.
Like, this is like, I mean, yeah, I'm probably gonna be figuring this out my whole life. That's marriage for you.
Same.
That's marriage for you. But I will say in like the last 3 years, or coming on 3 years, what I've put into effect that has genuinely, I feel, helped us navigate our schedules and just our lifestyle is one, proper communication.
What does proper communication look like to you?
Yeah, I'll explain it.
Okay.
Yeah, proper communication and just like prioritizing quality time. And by what I mean by proper communication is because the way I communicate, guys, is very different to the way Kirsten communicates. I can say something and she can take it a completely different way. Now, that's
Vice
not...
versa.
Yeah,
Vice versa.
exactly. That's not a bad thing. Every single person has their own way of communicating. And especially when, you know, when you're just very busy and you're in a relationship, of course, you know, you still have to make it known to the person that you want to just spend time with them, be with them, ask about their day, you know, make yourself, even though you may not be available, see what you can help in, what you could do to make things better. Just overall, I think just communication. I think our first year was very funny because Kirsten was gone for half the month every month. And then when she was in town, I basically kept doing my thing. You know, I was still working. And
We created habits.
yeah,
alone.
we just had to basically be like, look, you know, we gotta genuinely like communicate below surface level communication.
above.
Yeah, above. Yeah, we were thank you. We were communicating below surface level, and then we had to basically change that to, you know, just express how much we cared for one another. And then as far as
Bluntly, you know, instead of
right,
just
right, and yeah, and we obviously, you know, we grew up very differently, and we learned things very differently growing up. That's what I mean by our communication is very different. So we just have to understand. We have to communicate in the way the other one is going to understand what we're saying. You know, I mean, I think that's part of marriage at the end of the day. You know, and quality time. You know, we're very busy. You know, at first I think we kind of looked at like, if we're like, oh yeah, let's schedule on our calendar, date nights, or let's schedule in our calendar maybe like 30 minutes at certain days of the week to like grab coffee and have lunch or talk together. We were like, oh, I don't want to do that because then it makes it feel like a job. And it's like, well, no, it's not really going to make it feel like a job, but it's the essence of when you're busy, you're still trying to make sure you see, your partner, and just make time for them. It's just because you're scheduling it in the calendar doesn't necessarily mean it's a job. And I've never really looked at it that way. Probably never will. But it's just making sure that throughout that day, it's like I look at my calendar and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what I have. And you do your calendar a lot too. So
I finally got us a joint calendar together, guys, where we can both see it, because it was a little hard when our calendars were only on our phones.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, did you see that? No, it's only on your phone.
Yeah, it took a solid 3 years to get that down.
But it's a lifesaver, I will say.
Don't get me wrong, though. I'm not perfect with that calendar.
I think only my stuff are on that calendar.
There's plenty of times Kirsten's like, yeah, did you put in the calendar? I was like, I know you got things to do today. Did you put in the calendar? Like,
we're working on it.
But overall, I think quality time is very important, especially when you're in a relationship or you're in a marriage. And if you're very busy people, it is not a bad thing to put it on your calendar. You are just making sure, regardless of what's going on in your lifestyle, your work ethic, everything in life, you're still going to make time for your person. And I think if you really care about your person, it's something that just comes naturally, and it's going to be taken seriously without question. But I don't think it's a problem putting in the calendar. Those are my two things that I would say to that, outside of the large pool of answers that I would have to say for your whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it.
Do you want to ask another one or B?
I mean, I feel like it should be back and forth.
No,
sharing is caring, I've heard.
That's funny. Yes, I agree.
The reaction. That's funny. So I've had to really learn Brandon's responses. And it's such a funny thing for me because I'm such an emotionally driven, engaging person. And so sometimes I have layers of what a response would mean. And I've had to really learn to not be so emotionally deep in the response. It's been such a genuinely beautiful quality I've had to build.
That's so funny.
I'm nervous for your question. Go for it.
No. This isn't serious.
Okay.
Like I said, I have multiple categories. I have like also fun ones too.
Okay.
So this one, because this was actually a big reveal in the last week, and I know we're part of the Tesla family.
Oh,
so we're part of the Tesla family, guys. For you that don't know,
Tesla babies.
We also have a couple robots in the house already, so we're
they don't look like us yet, though.
We're on track. We're on track. But with the newest reveal, with the whole Tesla robo taxi thing, you have the 2-seater car, you have the van, which looks crazy, and then you have like the humanoid robots. Which, funny enough, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's being sued by someone relating to the iRobot movie, because everyone's like, all these ideas are coming from
You're like, wait
everything's
a second.
coming from the movie.
This is my movie.
Yeah. But what do you think on what this guy is doing with all the tech right now?
Well, what I found really wild is that I saw in one of his interviews that the AI system is the same in the cars as it is the human robot thingy bobber. And so recently we just got on both of our cars the full self-driving again. To test out things. And I was like, oh, we're getting more data so that the taxis can come out and the robots.
Right.
Well, they're all robots, but the ones that can help you to serve your drinks and cook and
they're
clean.
Like
I saw one
tall.
wear a cowboy hat.
What?
Yeah.
Where?
They were dressed up. They were bartenders.
Where were you?
Well, I wasn't there. It was a video. It was a whole event. And they had them all walking around, dancing.
No.
Yeah, you can look it up. It's crazy. It's amazing. I'm not kidding. You think I'm joshing you? I'm serious. I'll show him the video later. It was an event they had that it was their opening for the taxi, but really the main event was obviously.
No, I get it.
Do you get it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm interested. I'm also nervous. I think that it's quite a...
Did you see by I think it was 2026, they can start producing 2 million robo taxis a year?
Dang.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I mean, that goes to the point of the whole beta. You get like the self-driving thing. I think like, by the time we get to 2030, we're gonna see a lot of cars being like self-driving cabs and stuff like that. And
It
honestly,
might even be before
I
then.
think, yeah, well, I said by that time it's gonna be like at a
Full
much
self.
larger, yeah, much larger scale. And I can see Elon Musk and Tesla basically, just taking over that industry. I mean, they basically already are. Yeah.
It'll be a curious next few years. I think I am.
You want that robot on your house?
I don't know. But I think that there's going to be a lot of different reviews, like anything. I think any product has some hit or miss, and there's always going to be stuff that has to be worked out.
Okay. Well, what's your question?
I think going through your career, you've been in real estate for like 9 years, something like that. 9 years, right?
I mean, I've been with them. I've been, in that business for like 9, but like full time, maybe like 7.
And it's pretty demanding. Like, I mean, you were this morning cooking some fresh made lasagna while trying to have a phone call with somebody, while still trying to get ready to come and film the podcast.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we're standing there making sure that we're good together. What kind of are your thoughts during those moments, and like what would be the biggest challenge of how to, like, I don't know, walk that out without getting anxiety or fear of something or losing out on something?
That's been a tough journey to walk through. Because I'm also I don't think I'm that much more of that person anymore. But I know for sure in this business, I was the type of person where for some weird reason, I was just like afraid to talk to some people. Or I was just either so nervous to where that feeling would stop me from talking to certain people. Or for whatever reason, I think I'd have so much nerves and anxiety if a situation was going south that I would almost like push it off because I just didn't want to deal with it right then and there. And I just realized I was just like nowhere near the right thing to do. Like it actually made it so much worse for me. And if you just do it, you're going to be fine, because if you have the knowledge, then what is there to be scared about?
Yeah.
You just got to deliver that knowledge in confidence. Like, it, you're the only thing standing in front of your own confidence. So and it's just with the phone call this morning, it's like I already knew what they were calling about. So it's like, okay, well, let me just bang out this phone call real quick, and then I can
You looked like a super ninja. Like you were like making the lasagna. Yeah, I got you. And then you're like, you look great, babe. And then it's it's like you've handled stress in a different way recently that I've seen.
Yeah.
What was that like to take it? Because before that would.
Well, it's just because it's like, I mean, like, even like last week, it sucked. I lost 2 really big deals that I felt 90% sure I was going to have, and it's like, it's just like, well, it is what it is. It's like you can't, and I've just learned to think about it as, instead of just getting down and then just stressing and walking in that emotion throughout the whole day, or just releasing it to you or someone else or whatever. And God knows what other opportunity I'm losing, because I'm stuck in that emotion. I've just learned to just be like, look, it's like you can't win them all. Like, you're going to have your wins, you're going to have your losses. Your wins and losses, at the end of the day, they both define you. It's not just your wins. Like, every single successful person in this world has probably had more losses than their wins. And at the end of the day, I feel like the losses comes with a lesson, depending on how you look at it. So I've learned recently just trying to make peace with it. Like, just feeling like, okay, it wasn't meant for me, or it's being like, how did this fall through, and understanding why it fell through and what I should have done differently. And when I'm in this position again on the next deal, what not to do, or what should I explain or emphasize better. Like, just things that I try to analyze what I've done. And if it got me to the next level, it's like, okay, great, I'm doing something right. But if I lost something, I just try to realize, okay, why was it lost? And just try to prevent the next one from going into that direction. But other than that, I just try to make peace with certain things because, you know, every day, you're getting, at the end of the day, you're getting older every day. Yes,
What? I'm getting younger. What do you mean?
yeah, but today is tomorrow's history. So it's like I don't want to live my days stressed or on edge or just not knowing or just being in this bubble where it's preventing me from being happy in my current day, embracing my current day. So I just try to walk in that path to where whatever I've done, I can feel good about it. And that's why I try to create daily goals and a list. So it's like if I accomplish those at the end of the day, I finish knowing that I did the best I could that day. And I'm just going to keep pushing for the next deal.
Amazing.
Yeah. But it was kind of funny doing the phone call and the cooking and everything this morning.
Yeah, I've just seen you handle stress a lot differently. And that's been a blessing for both of us. But genuinely, as your wife, it's really nice to see that for you. Because I think that, as spouses, you want the best for your person. And it's helpful in all areas of life, obviously. Yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to compliment you there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no P-Mang.
All right. Well, okay, so we also asked you guys polls the other day on our Instagram page. If you don't follow the Instagram page, you should follow it because you're missing out on important polls.
Honestly, let's just stop this right now. Go follow it. Busy Bodies Podcast.
And highlights from every episode. But one of you guys asked this question, and I think it's a good question. So I was like, you know what? I want to ask you this.
Okay.
But it basically says, so how do you build a firm foundation?
How do I build a firm foundation?
Yeah. Or what does that look like to you? I added that part.
What does that look like to me? For me personally, I think that a world or a life without what foundation is, which is the beginning, the structure.
Yeah.
For me is creator, which is God. Without God, I am wavering out of my identity or my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can run off a mountain, really, because my direction's off. So I think in order to build a firm foundation in whatever you're doing, it starts with, well, what do I believe?
Yeah.
Where do I come from? Who am I? Whose am I? And usually these all stem and direct to the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you seek, you will find.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the ground is always shifting. Earthquakes, ground's moving, things are always moving.
Literally.
Yeah. And you want to be sturdy enough to stand on many different places in many different seasons of life.
Mm-hmm.
And you need something that's stable. And the only thing that's stable that I know is the Lord. So for me, I need presence daily. I need the word. I need connection. I need discussion because it gives purpose to what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
When I feel lack of purpose or lack of anything, really, I'll fall and I will crumble because I'm a pretty emotional person. I can feel a lot of things at once, and so I can find myself in many different places at once. But if I don't go back to where am I, whose am I, then I will break. So I don't know if that answers the question, but that's kind of, I don't have, as we talked about in previous podcasts, I don't usually have a routine. So my routine is not based on the things that I do or the people I'm around. I actually thrive better when it's different people, different seasons, different things, different foods, different clothes, different stuff, because it makes me feel alive. But the thing that's the same is my character. Mm-hmm. I think that I want my character to stay in pure nature. I want my character to stay in alignment with Jesus, and I want my character to stay firm in the foundations of creation. And that is me.
I love it.
That is who I am. And I do not always do that right. Actually, a lot of the time I suck at it. But in those moments, I'll find myself broken, depressed, anxious, very, very anxious. And I can realize that I've stood off my foundation.
Okay.
I've walked off the cliff, literally.
So, when you feel those type of emotions, like what's something that helps you overcome those feelings?
That is a great question that I have yet to solve. I think there's many different forms.
Well, it's not about, you when you feel it, you walk through it, successfully.
Yeah, I do.
You get to the other end.
The joy of the Lord, honestly. I sing.
So are you saying it's your singing and then
I
the
sing
word?
praises. I sing declaration. I sing, I am free. I am chosen. I am beautifully and wonderfully made. I am a daughter of the Most High God. I choose life. I speak things and declare things that are opposite to what I'm feeling. Because if I sit in what I feel, a lot of it can consume me to believe lies or doubt or all these different avenues of very real things that I don't actually want to live in. So first I will scream because sound, I release, I let it go, I give it to God, I sing it, I declare, I cry, definitely cry.
Yeah. Well, it is good, it's good to release though, because it's not good to just hold in all those emotions, right?
Oh yeah, and
Because
people can see it right on my face.
yeah, that is very true. I confirm
You
that.
can
Yeah,
read me like a book.
I confirm that 1000%. But it is important, I think, for just everybody to, when you're just have an outlet, have a place where you can like release, whether it's stress or anger, if you're feeling, any sort of depression, if you're just feeling sad, you have to have an outlet. You can't just let all those emotions bundle up, because if they bundle up, it's weighing heavy on your heart, weighing heavy on your shoulders, and you don't know what's going on inside of you. And if it's anger, you're just basically like a ticking time bomb for like something else that may, trigger that or bring that back out. And you don't want to be that.
Nope. And I've had many moments of explosion of myself because of the way I believed lies. And so I think I love the expression, which I feel like we all know, but you're only in control of your reaction.
Yes.
And your actions. Your actions and your reactions. And it's what you start and what you finish.
Yeah.
And what you move forward, what you bridge. And I love so highly what Kenji was talking about last episode with being a bridge, being a connection, a connector of many different facets of things and people. And so, I think that's genuinely, it's a work in progress.
Nice.
I would say.
I think that's a good thing. It's always gonna be a work in progress. You specifically, you're building a beautiful lifestyle as far as everyone watching this podcast. So,
Well, thank you, baby.
Of course.
I have a funny question. Okay. It doesn't have to be 5 exactly. But what are some of your pet peeves that are funny about me?
About you?
Yeah, about me.
Oh, God.
I want to know because I think it's a funny thing and how we learn to
You
love
think it's
the
a
pet.
funny thing?
I
So
do.
you have specific ones in your head?
I do.
Like you already know the 5?
I really know some of them.
That's hilarious. That's funny. I really have to think about it because, I don't know why
I'm perfect? Thank you.
I don't know why my brain works. I know one specifically, but I have to think about the rest. But funny enough, I'll say the one I know specifically, and it's the cabinet one.
Oh, yes. It's a good one.
It's the cabinet one.
What do you mean? I just want to leave it open. Free access.
Okay, so
We've talked about this, which is a funny one.
it's a funny one though. It doesn't get me mad. But yeah, so
You want to know what my pet
I'll
peeve
walk
is?
around in the house. I'll walk around the house, or I'll cook, or I'll do something. But the other day, I came into the house, just arrived, and like every cabinet door in the kitchen is wide open. Like no one's cooking. There's no reason for cabinet door to be open, but every cabinet door is open.
I think that it was maybe like 2, but every is fine. Okay, but I have one that's kind of funny. And it's me and
Sure.
Crawford. Me and Crawford have this pet peeve. Brandon
Against
is
me?
so good at Mario Party, but
Ah.
they just released a new Mario Party and I've won twice and we've only played
Guys.
4 times. And I'm like, yes, it's my
Guys.
first time winning against him. And I
They've
took a
never
picture for
beat
Crawford.
me. It's been like I have like
celebrated.
something crazy. I'm like 40 plus wins, and they got like 0 wins against me.
Okay, that's not true now. I
Like-
have 2 wins. Thank you.
By the way, if you guys want us to play that new one, you guys got to let us know, and then we might think about that. But yeah, it is that game is kind of funny. It is kind of funny how you guys lose that many times to me, though.
Can you just say congratulations? Thank you.
For what?
I've won twice.
Sure. Congratulations.
Oh. Yeah. But that's one pet peeve because it's actually funny. He'll get like the most random stars ever. But, and then I would say, let me think. I think me and Brandon live at different.
Well, that's a serious one. I'll wait for that one.
Are you sure? We should probably go into it. Let's go. I'm ready.
You want to?
Let's just do it.
Okay, so what is, and it doesn't have to be me specifically, just people in general or just things in general, but it's like, what is a, just what's a trigger for you? Like, what really gets you like riled up? And sometimes you don't even know why you're like so riled up, but you just are. You could be just like having the best day of your life, and then someone does something to you, and it's like,
Is this couple therapy right now? Is this what we're doing?
no, that's why I said everybody else, not me.
Okay. Got it. What does that? I think myself. I'm my own trigger.
What does that mean?
I'm my own trigger.
What's your trigger? Myself.
I think it is because I'm an overthinker. And so I analyze people's responses or things or, I don't know, movement, or I analyze a lot of detail at once and I consume it and then I filter it out and I come to conclusions. And sometimes without fully getting the full picture from somebody else or, you know, the narrative of the meaning of something, I will come to a conclusion and then I will believe it and then I will hold on to it. And I think that I've learned to try and let it go a lot more. But it's definitely not my favorite one, I would say, because I can get consumed by it so quickly and my mind just goes into this big complete spiral. And I think that has a lot to do with being an oldest child or an oldest girl. I had 2 perfectionism parents and I genuinely had to do everything very perfect. And that was okay because it made me a woman of excellence. But
What-
in my head, it was like,
What is doing everything perfect when you're a kid?
I think it depends on who your parents are because it depends on the expectations. So for me, I guess the expectations was my personality, character, and the way I treated people, as well as the way I dressed, my purity, and the connection that I had with myself. I don't know. There's many things, but I think it's just forming a healthy mindset within myself to acknowledge when I'm convincing myself of something that is blind to what's actually happening or, you know, or choosing to let it go. What is
So, all right. There's this one that, you know, we can both have, you know, our own answers to it.
okay?
But, you know, I see people question this a lot. And I actually saw someone say that, not on the polls, but someone said it. I saw someone say it the other day on the Busybody page about something. I forgot what it was. I think it was one of the reels where you guys were elaborating on this topic. But, you know, like, historically, there's so many things that have happened in this world. So many things have been proven false. So many things that have just actually, like, they can't be proven false, you know? So one thing is, like, out of all the books in the world, it's almost like, how do you know the Bible's actually real? You know, I see a lot of people wonder that, and a lot of people ask that don't necessarily believe, and the ones that do believe. The ones that do believe seek a lot of stuff within that book. You know what I mean? And then the ones that don't believe are like, well, how do we even know this is real? You know, so it's like, the follow-up to that is like, you know, why are so many people questioning it or just may or may not believe in it? You know, like, what's your take on that?
Wow, go dive deep right now. Whew, that's a big one to answer, Brandon. I don't have all the answers. I don't. But I do know that when you will seek, you will find things. And I think scripture is the word of God. So it's not necessarily the form of the book, because the book has many translations. It's translated from Aramaic, Hebrew, Greek. And from there's only, I think the first one was 1500s that I know of. I could be very wrong.
Like what, when it was
There's
written?
history of the translation into
Okay.
English,
The translation.
or,
Yeah. Okay.
forming it from those originated languages to this. And also they're all in scrolls. So you have to remember that these are scrolls that they didn't have these print press, so they were writing what was happening historically down. And
Yeah.
the Bible, why it's such an important thing is that it has 10,000 times more historical proof than any other book. Why? Is because
Right, yeah.
many different of the same story in the same nature from different places were written on these scrolls, and they found a bunch of them, and they compiled, all these scholars compiled themselves and said, these are what we want to put in this. And so I think I am learning this because these are good questions to have. It's important to question and be curious on what you believe and what people are telling you and how you operate. And I think that only you and God, only you and your spirit can know what you are seeking. And
Right.
every single religion actually acknowledges Jesus, which is a huge green flag, right? They acknowledge he existed, his presence, he was historically proven. That's great. And Jesus acknowledges himself. So it's such a funny thing to say, but
Yeah.
I saw this podcast the other day. This guy, he was like, well, I didn't know what to believe. So I studied every single religion. I found that every religion was pointing to Jesus and he was pointing to himself. So I chose him. And I think that people are going to find their way to truth regardless of their journey. Truth is existent whether you're here or not. And you're supposed to want to seek and ask questions. It's a relationship. When we're married, I don't just sit here and say, oh, I know you fully. I can know attributes about you, but you're constantly changing and moving, but you're the same person. God has so many vast things about his nature that it's impossible to know all of it. You would actually die to hold that much amount of glory. And so I think that in this question, it's good. Seek, ask questions, discover, in science, in life of plants and trees, in electricity and tech, you will always find the source. And the source is what sets you free. And so,
Yeah.
that's my simple answer because I am definitely not a scholar.
Well, it's a great answer. It's a great answer though.
I have yet to get there.
It's a great answer. And I noticed that a lot of people are wondering that. So I recommend all of you guys, if you are wondering that, just do your own research. I think it's very important to just learn. I mean, it doesn't have to this is a real historic book right now. Like
Those things actually happened.
majority of the things that I've tried to
Disprove.
go deep down and try to say it was false, it's I can't get to the solution of saying it's false. So yeah, it's been historically proven by numerous amount of people, So yeah, I recommend you guys all do your own research on that.
Yeah. I mean, I really wanted to do this study. There's a really cool company called the Bible Project that was really intriguing for me because I was very curious myself. I was like, well, how come there's so many translations? How come this says this says this? Who even decided that these books were supposed to be together? These are very normal questions to have. Why would God allow this to happen if he was real? And there's so many answers and so many beautiful things that are present and available for you to discover. And the Bible Project does it really well because they put it in video form and you can also read it. And they also do.
What do you mean the Bible Project?
It's a company. That's what I was talking about. The Bible Project.
But where do they find them?
Anywhere. You just search the Bible Project.
Oh, okay.
That's their company name.
Okay.
Yeah, so they have an app, they have YouTube, they have different things, Instagram, and they also have what's it called? A Bible course where you can go and they read through the Bible, why specific poetry is written, why specific chapters are written and verses are written in specific ways, and it's an art form. It's actually so intricate, it's beautiful. So I started that course, and that was really helpful for my mind to form these things together that were before confusing me. If you could only say one sentence for the rest of your life, what would it be?
What?
Yeah.
Why would I want to say one sentence for the rest of my life?
Because it's going to be your motto, bro. Don't you love Drake?
Yes. Yes. But that's
Yes, but, yes, and. That's your sentence?
because I don't know. What would one sentence for the rest of my life? How can I even make sense with that? You'll probably ask me something. The guy next door will ask me something else. So I'm just going to say one line for the rest of my life. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. That's
It's kind of like the same question as if you were on an island, what is the one object you would bring? Obviously, you'd want to bring like 1,000, but you could only bring one. It's kind of like, what is something that you can't live without? And you're saying, like, what do you think would be something that would be something you stand on or hold strong to? Like, what is your motto?
just one thing for the rest of my life. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that one.
Okay.
Here, give me another one. Give me another one.
Okay.
Guys, I'm going to write my response in the comments for you when this episode gets out.
Okay. If you could have coffee with any historical figure, who would you choose? That means history.
Oh my God. Coffee with any historical figure?
Yeah, now that you drink coffee.
Yeah, and
Or
drink,
yerbas. You could have yerba with any historical figure.
I drink too much of that too, which is funny. Wow, that's like these are like random. Let me see. Historical figure. That's so funny.
If you don't want to answer, it's okay.
It's not that I don't want to answer. I have no idea who I want to see. Who
right.
I have a coffee
Well,
with.
if you have one more serious question, I think we could do that. And then
Okay. Well, through your day-to-day and busy lifestyle, what is, or even if you have something, you don't have to have something, but is there something that you basically do when you're not working or always on the go that basically keeps you, like, just gives you peace of mind? Like, just helps you relax, just helps you unwind, and just gives you a fresh of breath air, regenerates you to basically do the next task if you're doing something in between. So there's just something that just kind of like helps your spirit just breathe throughout your day.
if I could, I would be on a sailboat every day. I love being on a sailboat and a plane. I love adventures. So for me, renewing my heart is touching nature, having a nice warm cup of coffee, and laughing. I love laughing. If I can laugh and joke, I feel I could do anything, and I would not feel like work. I love joy. If I'm laughing, anything could feel fun.
I like that. You told me one of your favorite places before growing up was your family's lake house, right?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
It was a must thing.
Do you do those exact things on the lake?
I did. I mean, I didn't have a sailboat, but I had a boat, tubing, definitely extracurricular
coffee.
activity. Oh,
Sitting
my
down,
uncle
little-
Ken would make the best lattes. I think he's what really got me into lattes, actually.
Really?
Yeah. He used to make me these cabin lattes. And we'd have these outdoor movies under the stars with little popcorns. It was amazing. Little simple things like that. I think I love moments.
I think those are basically life treasures. You're living in the moments. That's basically what they say is like you're living in the best time of your life.
Where I don't have to think about nothing.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah.
You?
That something that keeps my peace of mind going. It's kind of like it's a funny thing to say, but it's almost like I feel like, and I think I'm trying to like interpret just habits into my lifestyle now, but I feel like I always moved around, kind of like I felt like I was never breathing. It's always stressing. So it kind of like sits back. It's kind of nice to sit back and be like, I don't have to stress about this, or I could breathe. Funny enough, the whole self-care thing. I mean, you got me into monthly massages. Guys, never in my life have I ever gotten a massage before or thought I would even need one, let alone want one. And so Kirsten got me into this membership thing, and she just basically said, "Hey, we're going to do this. Don't question it. You're going to love it. Trust me. We're going to do it." And I did it, and it's phenomenal. I think really honing in on, self-care is very important. It does that, whatever self-care may be, it doesn't have to necessarily be a massage. I think both men and women need a moment to themselves in some way, shape, or form to just basically breathe and just sit back and, process that, you're going to be okay. It might be a world of chaos, whatever's going on in your life, but overall it's just, you're going to be okay. And it's important to just, breathe.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having question time with me.
100%. It's crazy. I think it's been over an hour. I don't really know, but I think it's been around that time.
This might be our longest uninterrupted conversation in a long time.
But I'm glad we did it, and I think it was necessary and it was important. And I hope we answered questions that intrigued you guys, and you guys may have questions to follow back on, our answers, or just other questions that you may have answers to. So just feel free to give us your feedback. Let us know your comments. Let us know what you thought. If you have any questions for me or Kirsten, just let us know, and we will be answering you on the episode.
We appreciate you guys. You're amazing. We love you. Have the most beautiful day, and we will talk to you soon.
Till next time, busybodies.
Bye.